Scheduled for release in May of 2023, today we take a close look at the X Plus Toho Large Monster Series Godzilla Ultima. Just about 3 months ago we saw the prototype of this figure showed off at a festival, and now we have the official product images to look at. Based on his appearance and Godzilla's singular point, it looks like X Plus has given us another amazing release. From the highly detailed sculpt, to the absurdly long tail, and even the amazing pose itself, there is a lot to take in with this figure. Considering this is a 25cm scale figure, this is a sizable one for sure. At its highest point, it's about 12 inches tall, a little over 10 inches wide, and a little over 23 inches deep. From this angle here, you can see where the tail is probably the highest point here. It looks like it's a little bit over where the head is actually at, so maybe the figure itself up to the head is around maybe 11 inches tall. This design has gained a lot of traction since it was originally announced before the show even came out, and in just this year alone we've had so many toy renditions of it from other companies. Now, while I don't own any myself at this time, I am strongly considering picking this one up. Starting with the sculpt, this thing is insanely detailed. There are so many lines and striations beautifully represented and brought from the screen into figure format here. One thing I like about this design that's present on this figure as well is just the variety of patterns that's present throughout this entire thing. From the neck to the chest, the legs, the rest of the body, of course the dorsals, even that sort of mohawk we have at the top of the head there. And also, speaking of which, look at that head pose, that roar, perfect. It's funny because while this is a three-dimensional figure, the way it's painted almost looks like it is like cartoony or from the anime itself, almost kind of cel-shaded in a way. I think the paint style that they chose for this figure is nothing short of excellent. It really brings out all the sculpted details here. We have a masterful array of highlighting and low lights, shadow. While this figure maintains that sort of dark charcoal look of most Godzillas and most Godzilla figures, I think the paintwork here really separates this one from the rest. The teeth really pop out here because they're such a stark white in comparison to the majority of the figure. I do wish we could have a closer look though at the eyes here. They do look really good, but we can't really get a full picture of how they look. As we make our way to the top of the head here, I guess these are dorsals? I don't know. I'm just going to call it the mohawk from now on. But this leading into the dorsals themselves, I really love this sort of gradient of white, gray-ish coloring. Very nice contrast to the rest of the body. And then of course we have those pops of red with those sort of veins that are present in the dorsals themselves. So that's really cool. I love that little detail there as well. And then I think the final piece here that brings the entire figure together is, of course, this tail. It really sells the idea that this figure is sort of mid-motion, and the tail itself is sort of just swinging around. But based off that depth that we looked at earlier for this figure, it looks like this figure might be a bit of a shelf hog. I guess we won't know for certain until it finally comes out, and then we can see how this factors into the way it is displayed. Also, I haven't even mentioned the Rick version yet of this figure. Here it is. This is a light-up version. Normally, I'm not crazy for light-ups, but I will say that the effect on this figure does look excellent. The blue looks so saturated and adds another level of color to this figure that I think is much needed when you have so much gray and black going on. But I guess whether you go with the standard or the Rick version, you still get this amazing sculpt. I'm totally sold on this figure. I don't know for certain yet if I am going to get it. I do really want it. I'm limited on space. We'll see what winds up happening. But I am curious to know what you guys think about this figure yourself. Will you be getting the standard or the Rick version? Comment down below. I know a lot of people have been anticipating this release, and now that we have these images, it looks like X Plus has delivered. Now we just have to play the waiting game until May. If you like this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and taking a look at my other Godzilla figure content on the channel. You can also follow me on Instagram at Total Approximation, where I post Godzilla toy photography each week. Lastly, thank you for watching, and have a good one.